foresight, intuition and flair. When we call someone perceptive or intuitive, we are in effect saying that person is able to other people's nonverbal signals and compare them with their verbal messages. In other words, when a hunch or inner voice tells us that the other person is lying to us, what we are actually noticing is that person's words and their nonverbal signals contradict each other. Lecturers are familiar with this phenomenon and call it audience sensing. For example, if there are people in the audience is sitting with their heads down in their chairs and their chests with their arms crossed, the lecturer will catch on immediately, and realize that in order to capture the audience's attention, it is necessary to change the way he or she speaks. And an insightful or inexperienced speaker will continue to speak through a side, ignoring the indifference of the audience. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to help my channel grow, giving me the motivation to keep creating content. Women tend to be more perceptive than men, and this fact has given rise to the concept of female intuition. Women have an innate ability to catch and decipher nonverbal signals and notice the smallest details. This is why it is rare for a man to lie to his wife and get out of a situation dry, while most women successfully blow the fog on anything unsuspecting men. This female intuition is especially strong when a woman has young children. During the first few years of a child's life, it is the nonverbal channel of communication that a mother relies on most when communicating with her child. It is believed that this is the reason why women are most often better negotiators than men. Innate, genetic, learned and cultural signals. There has been much research and debate about whether nonverbal signals are innate or learned, whether they are passed on as genetic information, or whether they are absorbed in some other way. Data has been collected on the behavior of blind and/or deaf people who have not been able to learn nonverbal signals from others or through other visual channels. The subtleties and differences in gesticulation between cultures around the world were also analyzed, as well as the behavior of our closest anthropological relatives, the great apes and great monkeys. The findings of this study show that different gestures fall into different categories. For example, most primate newborns have an innate ability to suck, suggesting that this ability is either innate or genetic. German scientist Eibel Eibesfeld found that newborns born blind and deaf after learn to smile in the same way as sighted people. So it turns out that this gesture, too, is not learned or copied, but innate. Ekman, Friesen and Sorensen's research supports Darwin's the belief that most elements of gesticulation are innate. These researchers studied the facial expressions of 5 radically different cultures. They discovered that in each culture the corresponding emotions are expressed by the same facial expressions. Researchers have concluded that facial expressions are also innate emotions. When you put your hands on your chest, the left one is on top, or the right. Most people can't answer this question without trying to put their hands together. Almost always, one of the 2 hand positions looks comfortable, while the other is completely awkward and even uncomfortable. This proves that hand positions can also be genetically programmed and cannot be changed. Some gestures are still debated as to whether they are the result of cultural conditioning or whether they are also genetically programmed. For example, most men put their right hand in the sleeve of their coat first when getting ready. When passing a woman on the street, a man usually turns to her, and the woman usually turns away from the man. Is this innate instinctive reaction of the female sex to protect their breasts, or do women learn this maneuver subconsciously by observing the behavior of other women? However, a large part of our nonverbal behavior are learned, and the meaning of movements and gestures is determined by the cultural environment. In the next episode, we will look at these aspects of body language. See you next time.